Hey everybody, I'm Dawn. I'm your teen librarian here at the Zion Benton Public Library, and welcome to our very first virtual writing club. Virtual writing club will be every Saturday in October, and log in at 1 o'clock because that's when they should be uploaded. And then after October, it will be the last Tuesday of every month here on YouTube. And if we get a lot of people and you guys interact with us, then we will start doing them live. But right now, we're just going to record them and you can watch them whenever you want. You can come back to them whenever you want. We would still love for you to interact with us. Tell us in the comments what other activities you want to do, what other tips you need, or anything else you feel like saying, as long as it is nice and appropriate. We currently have a short story contest going on. We do it every year. I think we are in our 10th year. It is called ZB Inked, and it is a writing competition open to third grade up to adult. If you want to enter, the deadline is November 1st. If you want to enter, I will put the rules and everything, all the information that you need in the description below. There will be a link there for you to go to all the rules. But this virtual writing club is to help you with tips so that you can win. I think the grand prize is $100, and then there's a first prize for middle school and high school categories as well. Today's topic will be characters and character development. When you are writing your short stories, it is important, if you have characters, which I suppose you would have characters in your stories, that they are very well written, they are round, and they are interesting. And I'm going to give you some tips. We're going to do an exercise, and I'm going to give you a writing prompt. So one of the toughest things to do when you are drafting a character is coming up with the character. And it's always a good note to write what you know. So you can model your character after someone you know if you want to, if that helps you. You don't have to, but that is a way to help you get the old creative juices flowing. I'm going to play a little game to not make it so challenging to come up with a character. It'll be luck of the draw, if you will. And we're going to make a cootie catcher. So we called them cootie catchers when I was a kid. I don't know what they call them now, fortune tellers, whatever. Yeah, we call them cootie catchers.
I've also heard cootie catchers, so I'm like, yeah.
All right, if you do not know how to make a cootie catcher, I'm going to tell you really quickly. First, you need a blank sheet of paper. And then you need to fold it. I'm going to show you how to fold it. So you need to fold it like this. And then you need to cut off or rip off this part here. I usually just rip it off because I never have scissors nearby. So I'm just going to fold it up like this and really crease it well a couple times. And then I'm just going to carefully rip it. And I messed up, whatever. And then you should have a perfect square. So you're going to open it up, and at each corner, you're going to fold it to the center. Like this. So it should look like this. It's all folded to the center. And then you're going to flip it around to the side and repeat. Fold each corner to the center. So like this. And now this is where it gets a little tricky for people, is getting your fingers in there. So I usually just kind of fold it in half to loosen it up, get it loose. Then I'll fold it again in half again to get it loose. And then I'm just going to jam my fingers in there until it feels comfortable, like that. All right, so now I'm going to tell you what to put all around your cootie catcher or fortune teller or whatever you want to call it. So for mine, I just repeated hero or male, hero, female, villain. And I just repeated that all the way around. And then on the inside, I wrote adjectives. So mine says a coward or an anti-hero, eccentric, snobby, introvert, nerdy, bully, the chosen one or the hero, troublemaker, or trickster. And you can put whatever you want. You don't have to put the same ones I did. I also numbered mine, and you'll see why in a second. And then underneath, I put a conflict. It's important to have conflict when you are dealing with characters. In other words, they need to be going through something. Something needs to be happening to them. So I put breaking up, betrayed by a friend, stole a friend's boyfriend or girlfriend, told a friend's secret, phone was hacked, stole someone's money, cyberbullied, sent to Saturday detention, and that's it. And so I wrote them underneath here. So now you can play however you want, but usually you're playing this with another person. So if you have the luxury of playing with another person, you can do that. So they would hold the cootie catcher and you're the one answering the questions, and then you take turns. If you are by yourself, you're just going to have to like close your eyes and like point, and that's what you get. So to start off, I'm just going to close my eyes and point to this one. So my character is going to be a villain. And then I'm going to do it again, but this time I want to know if I'm going to get a male or female character. And I'm just going to keep going until I point to one of those. It says hero, point again, female. So I'm going to have a female villain. And now I'm going to say a number 1 through 9. So I'm going to pick 7. And then I'm going to do it 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm just going to choose which one. I don't know. This one. So my female villain is eccentric. And then I'm going to do another number 1 through 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I say a number? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can choose another adjective for the person, or I can choose their conflict. So I'll do another adjective just for funsies, and I'll do this one. Nerdy. A nerdy, eccentric person. And then one more number, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I'll do this flap, and the conflict will be breaking up. So my female villain is nerdy, she is eccentric, and she is breaking up with her girlfriend. Let's say girlfriend. So that's my character. And that helps you to break away from, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to do. It forces you to not worry about that. You can just come up with anything, and then you start from there. And I already have ideas of what I want to do with that character. So that's how you can do some fun character development. So now let's quickly go into some do's and don'ts when you are writing characters. And I have been judging the short story contest for 10 years. I have seen a lot of bad stories and a lot of bad character development. And here are some common things that I see all the time that I don't want you to fall into. So the first thing that people do is they write a flat character. A flat character means someone who is not important to the plot. They're there, but they don't really add anything to the story. They're just there for no reason. You only get 1,000 words. You don't want to do that. You want to make every word, every character, every scenario count. So for example, let's say your main character, my main character is, I guess we can make her, okay, so we'll do the character that I just made, my female villain, and she is at lunch with her friend. Her friend is the character that we're talking about. Let's say her name is Marion. And Marion and my hero story, I'm sorry, my villain, what's my villain's name? Sally. Sally is my villain. Marion is her friend. They're sitting at lunch. And then Marion says to Sally, hey, how'd you like that math test? It was okay. Yeah, I think I got a bad grade. Yeah, me too. Who cares? That conversation meant nothing. It did not develop Sally as the villain. It didn't matter to the story. The test matters nothing to your story. Don't write it. So that would be a flat side character in Marion. A round character is what you want. You want round characters. An example of that would be, once again, Sally is our villain. She is sitting at lunch with Marion. And Marion says to Sally, I'm done with this bag of chips. You can have them. I know you'll finish them. Well, now she's fat phobic and she's indicating that Sally is just going to eat all these chips. And maybe that is Sally's motive to do whatever villainous thing that she's going to do. So we've made Marion important to the story because she's bullied her. She's picked on her. She's made her feel bad about herself. So if you have multiple characters in your story, you want to make sure everything they do is important to the story. Another thing that I see a lot when we have entries in our short story contest is teens will have a list of characters, once again, that are not important to the story. So I literally had a story where someone said, we were walking down the street and we saw this haunted house. Me, Tommy, Susie, Angie, Philip, we all went into the house. But those characters disappeared within the story. Nothing happened to them once they got into the house. It was only about the main character. Don't list random characters if they don't add anything to your story. So once again, if it's not important to the story, don't add it. A third don't is don't write details that, once again, are not important to the story. If you're going to describe your character, which you should, only list details that are important to the story. So you probably need to list what they look like. If they are a person of color, say so. Say that they are a certain shade of brown. You can say how tall they are, if their hair has curly or straight or long or short, just something so that the reader can visualize, but you don't need to go into too many details unless it's important to the story. So you don't need to keep constantly talking about the person's hair if it isn't important to the story. If you're doing a mystery and there is a curly blonde hair found by the knife, well, then you might want to mention early on that one of the side characters had curly hair. That would be called foreshadowing. That's important to describe the curly hair. Otherwise, if it's not really important, don't go on and on about it. You can mention it. Don't talk about it for sentences and sentences. Once again, you only have 1,000 words. Use them wisely. And my last don't is inconsistent characters. So if your character, for example, my character was nerdy and eccentric, she is going to be nerdy and eccentric the entire story. I'm not going to switch her to being snobby. That's called voice. Your character should have the same voice the entire time. If they are nerdy, then they need to be nerdy the entire time. If we have Sally and Marion in the story and they're both nerdy and eccentric and they both talk the same, hey girl, what you doing, girl? If they both sound like that, they have the same voice. You don't want that. They should have a different voice. So if Sally is eccentric, then Marion, which we kind of gave an example earlier, she was a little fat phobic, then Marion should be mean. They should not both be the same thing because then your reader is not going to know who's talking. And that's bad. That's a big don't. All right, those are the do's and don'ts for today's character development lesson. And now I'm going to go into some pretty common mistakes that people make outside of characters. And once again, these are just tips for you to help you win. I am a judge. I'm giving you tips. You should listen because I'm the one judging. Did you see what I did there? All right. So the first common mistake is not knowing how to punctuate your dialogue. Open up a book and see how they punctuate dialogue, especially if you have two people talking in a row. You want to make sure you know how to put commas and end quotes and all that stuff. Just open up a book. If you don't want to Google it, if you don't want to look it up in a how to write a story book, just open up a book on your shelf that has dialogue in it and copy it. We do take points off for bad grammar, just letting you know. I already kind of talked about this before, but if you are doing dialogue, don't write unnecessary dialogue. So don't have Sally say, hey, and then Marion say, hey. And then Sally say, what'd you do at school today? Then Marion say, oh, nothing. Then Sally says, me neither. What? That means nothing. You're just wasting words. If you're going to have a dialogue, make sure that Sally is saying something important to the story and Marion is saying something important to the story. Every word on the page should be important to your story. Keep that in mind. And the best advice that I could give you, please listen, because teens make this mistake all the time. Published authors have to learn how to take criticism. People read their stories. Their friends, editors, publishers, agents, everyone is reading their story. You have to learn how to take criticism. You have to let people read your story. That's the only way you're going to get better. You're not going to get better by just you reading your story. So have someone you trust read it, whether a parent or someone you know that's not going to be mean to you, like an older or younger sibling or something, someone that you trust. If you want to bring it in and have me and librarian Christy critique your story, we will be happy to do it. But not only should you have someone read it, you should listen to their criticism. If they're telling you that your story is confusing, it might be confusing. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to do everything they say, but at least listen to it and think about it. And if you are bringing in your story for me or Christy to read and critique, you should probably listen to what we are saying because we are the judges. I have had several teens have me read their story. I give them critique, and then they hand in the same story, and they don't win. They don't even place because they didn't listen. So the best advice: learn how to take criticism. I know it's your baby. I know you love it. I know it's hard to hear someone trash your baby, but sometimes your baby's ugly. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not ugly. But sometimes you need to listen to criticism. The next virtual writing class will be October 14th, and Christy will be talking about fan fiction. Remember, if you have, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, comment below if you have any questions. If you want to submit something, let us know. We will give you our email addresses. If you have any other ideas you want to do here in the writing club, if you want to be live and you read your stories, that's great. Let us know. We also have a Discord where we have a writing channel that you can submit stuff and chat with other people, including the librarians. We will put the link on Discord in the description below. All right, until next week. Bye. Did I get everything?
Yeah.
That was 20.